year, so I was involved with that throughout all of high school. So when I transferred to middle
I do
school,
have links if you're. There's a lot of stuff you got to go through. For this first question, if there's something you're confused about, I do have like some links about different examples this has gone through. So, but
Okay.
I quit my freshman year of high school.
So okay. So you want me to go down the line, just like
go down. So,
okay.
and
Since
a lot of
bullying,
these tie into that first question. So,
okay. Do I think it's a serious problem? Yes, and like in certain respects, yes, I think bullying's a huge problem. But I also feel like it's not something that is is just like kind of occurring now. Like I feel like bullying has like been going on. Like I feel like at any age, at any time period, and I just not. I don't mean like recently. I mean like and like yeah, over time, like bullying is just kind of like this natural thing. It's like it's there's just bullies because people. I feel like it's complex for some and like you know less complex for others, but like it's just really kind of a person gaining gratification for bringing like they get a sense of like self I don't know. It's really stems from I feel like a person's psyche, right? So a person who might be trying to like overcompensate for something or like try to like you know relieve some kind of trouble that they're having internally, they kind of resort to outputting that in a negative way, and that sometimes leads to bullying. Like they try to like fix their problem or like their I don't know insecurities by taking it out on someone else. You know. So that's what I think about that. Do I think it's a serious problem? I think recently, now that things have been kind of brought to like the public's realm, I feel like it has been a serious problem for like a way long time. It's just like now that like it's finally getting publicized and people are like, oh shit, like kids actually take this really hard. They actually, because it's hard. It's when you get to that certain age. And I don't know exactly when it is. I remember it was like around middle school for me. If you get to that certain age where it's just like your peers' opinions is much more important than any other person's opinions. You know what I mean? Like more than your parents, more than your family, more than like your maybe even your closest friends. Just like a collective, I guess like survey of your peers' opinions. Like it matters most. So I feel like that's when it's like most troublesome. Like that's when bullying is very serious. You know what I mean? So have you ever witnessed or been bullied? I feel like I've been bullied. Like I mean that's just something that like I feel like everyone goes through. And I think everyone goes through. Like I remember I went through a rough period during middle school where everyone like picked on me, and it's just like I forget exactly why I got bullied on. I think it was just the fact that I couldn't stand up for myself, and I did have like
you were an easy target.
Yeah, I was an easy target. I felt like I was an easy target. I felt like I had a lot of self confidence issues, and like I didn't have like a self esteem where I have now, where I'm really comfortable in my own skin. And I'm like able to not care if someone doesn't like me or someone like doesn't like the way I dress or you know what I mean. It's just not important anymore. It's like a non-factor now. Whereas a few years ago, I'd be like really caring about that, and people I think saw that. I kind of felt it in some way, but I was just an easy target. Like I really kind of reacted. Reacted a certain way that I don't now to bullying, and so I felt like at a certain point, like I definitely was bullied. But yeah, you just gotta like. I mean, I feel like that's part of growing up. I don't know. Maybe that's just like the school system. Plus, there's society and like these like these imposed like I guess these imposed so I can't word my fucking shit right today. But society imposes certain ideals and certain I guess mentalities are adopted from older generations and it's just like all kind of brought into like the school realm, and and I feel like that's what people kind of face. Like kids don't know how to react to like things like that. Like they don't understand. Like really, when you're in high school, do you really understand like the I guess like how complex like homosexuality is, like you're using these words and you're making fun of people, you're making fun of your friends, like saying like certain rash and like demeaning words, but you don't know exactly like how far that issue or controversy runs. You're just like this like young kid. Like really, I think kids are more.
There's really nothing.
They're more naive to it, and like that's why bullying happens. It's just people are naive to like what they're really saying and the volumes that they're saying. I don't know. So I'm just kind of going all over the place.
It's okay. Well, you
Did I
answered.
tell you about
you
the
answered
experience?
the experience. You went through that. So, how do you feel? I think you briefly mentioned upon that one. So.
Okay, how did I feel? I felt shitty, man. I fucking would go home. I'm serious. I would go home and like really just like feel like shit and like I don't know. I felt like I was really vulnerable at that point. Like it was weird. Like I don't think and it's in a way I'm kind of happy it happened, and it's kind of fucked up for me to say, but I feel like by going through such like a hard like middle school and high school period, I learned to just be really mentally strong. Like I feel like I don't waver when people, or I don't get phased when like bullying happens now. Even though I never experienced really bullying in college at all. It's if there is bullying, it's more of like in a subtle way. But it's not like bullying in high school or whatever, younger ages, or even like kindergarten. You see bullying in kindergarten too, or something like where there's like a group of kids and there's one big bully, and like, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean,
I think that's definitely something that's away by this college.
Yeah, I feel like as people mature, that bullying is not a problem anymore, because people as soon as people like become more confident with themselves, there's no such thing as bullies. There's no people become more like secure with themselves, and all these insecurities that kind of motivate a bully to bully just become irrelevant, I guess. But what did I do about it? Fuck, what did I do about it, man? Just kind of kept it in. I don't know, and that might be because of the fucked up male ideals that we kind of adopt. Like you're supposed to not be like showing too much emotion and shit. So I just really kind of kept it in. Or maybe it's just because I felt like I could deal with it myself. But I think there was only like one time where I went to my mom and I was just like, man, I don't know what to do, And she just kind of told me to be like, well, tell him to fuck off. And I was like, all right, yeah. And so I did that. I told him to fuck off, and I was getting into lots of fights, probably because of that in high school. When I think about it. But I don't know. I feel like that's how I was raised. I was like raised to like fight back rather than, and that might not be the best way to do it. I don't know. I just know it turned out all right for me. But when you lash out violently, you sometimes get obviously it's not the best way to handle stuff. And there's certain consequences I faced. Like I had a lot of suspensions in high school. No, not a lot of suspensions. I had a lot of detentions and a few suspensions. But during my last senior year, I remember I almost got in a fight in gym class, and then I stopped myself because I was taking 2 AP classes the next week. So if I got suspended that week, if I got in a fight, I would have suspended the whole week. And I knew that I couldn't get suspended because then I couldn't take those tests, which I've been working so hard for. And like I wanted to save money in college, and so I mean, I wasn't like a fucking animal, I was just a guy trying to fucking defend himself.
Good.
I have a Facebook.
Done about it now. We can skip that one. What do you think? Why do you think? I think you touched that one earlier. So you can skip down to the last one.
I'll go on.
Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I read. Bullying's just fucking. It's complex as fuck. Like why people do it. It's really like it could be like a lot of things. It could be like the lack of confidence, like their own insecurities, and like that sense of entitlement and power. Like people thrive off that shit. That's why I feel like a lot of ways the world is what it is, because people fucking love to just have power, like have control, you know. It's like almost like greed. Like greed. I mean, I really don't know. I haven't like let.
It kind of ties in with the capitalism thing that we touched upon with yours.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that
Like it's.
since they have that, they don't want to lose that.
Yeah, it's like something that I wouldn't necessarily know, because I definitely feel like there's such a, you know, we learn in psychology that there's like situational ethics, like, or situational behavior that we don't know how we would react unless we're in that place. Like I can't blame bullies for what they do, because I don't feel like I've ever like gotten that low on myself, or maybe like got in a place of power or something that like I just kept feeding off it and became power hungry, or like just like searching for like a relief to some like deep insecurity. But you know, I think it's something that's more complex than just I want to fucking bully someone and like they're gonna get bullied. It's more like there's something going on with that person who's doing the bullying. So really, the victim should feel sorry for the bullies, because the bullies are probably suffering a lot more than like they are. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes really good sense. Last part, are there teachable solutions to this problem?
Man, I would say just, I mean, this is like me, like this is like how kind of I do it. I feel like there's no such thing as like going to a grown adult and like getting help from them, or a teacher, or anyone. Like no one's gonna help you out but yourself. And like I really feel like that, and I feel like the best advice I can give someone is just to ride it out. Wait
Is this for the bully or the person who
Sorry,
was
the victim.
The victim?
Yeah.
What about the bully?
The bully, which they do.
What are there solutions for that problem, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably something they need. I don't know if counseling works. Like I think counseling's kind of bullshit, but maybe that works for some people. Maybe they could like, you know, do that. I mean, I feel like they just need to really get down to like what's really wrong with them. I feel like through time and age is probably the best. Like I always feel like time and age and sleep are like the best healers of, you know. So it's like they'll reach a point themselves where they don't need to bully anymore to like receive that redeeming quality that they seek every time they bully. You know what I mean? It's something that they just need to get over themselves, and like I guess they should definitely seek help and like seek a way to like output that negative energy that they feel. You know, I feel like a good way to, if you're feeling down about yourself, is to like just like exercise, and there is medical things behind that. Or sorry, there is medical and scientific proof that, you know, you release endorphins and serotonin when you work out, so it makes you feel happy. Like physically, those are the chemicals that balance out your brain to feel, you know, happy. It controls your emotions, or controls your moods. So, and that's just like finding a way to like take all this negative energy and output it in a positive way. Or maybe I'm just being like a fucking,
it makes sense. I actually do follow that extremely well. How there's some sort of chemical like that.
Yeah, and it's not just exercise. You can find something like, I don't know, shoot a gun, or fucking, I don't know, play basketball, or just write, or make films. You know, like, and that's another thing too. It's just like I feel like I have a lot of negative energy, but I feel like I have different channels of ways to like take that negative energy and make it into something positive. Because I feel like I do a lot with films too. Like it's just like a self-expression. So whatever I'm feeling, like I put it in that film. Like, you know what I mean? Like however I feel about this, like I'm making that film because this is like what I experienced, and this is like how I feel. And these are like my collection of experiences in this thing. And like, so it's not just like, it's not just one thing. It could be anything. It could be like sitting by the lakefront watching the fucking sunset or something, you know? Some shit to make a person feel better about themselves, you know, or just like relieve their negative anxiety into something positive.
It is. It's very simple.
So that's that.
But people find it.
Give you 14 minutes.
Damn, I think we're good, man.
Which is really.
Does that even make sense, dude? I felt like I was